Antionette Lee is a reporter for KYW News Radio, and she's on the streets of Philadelphia, and we can speak to her now. Hi, Antionette.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are things where you are? Just tell us a bit about what's happening.
Okay, so they are changing by the minute. A couple of minutes ago, an official came over and asked everyone to please leave. He asked them multiple times, but people have not dispersed. And I heard him say something else, and apparently he said something like, okay, you guys can stay, just be peaceful. And so now I'll show you. People are pretty much just still standing around here. As I said, this has changed a lot. Like 20 minutes ago, everyone was dancing in the streets. Now it seems as, I'm sorry?
Well, I was just saying that, so the atmosphere there has changed. I just wanted to say, has the curfew been in? Is there due to be a curfew? Tell us about that.
Yes, exactly. So the curfew was at 8 p.m. and around 8:30 or so, officials came and they said that people need to leave. The tension started to rise. Protesters and police were facing one another. There was less and less space, and next thing you know, it was like that for about 20 minutes. I saw a couple of water bottles thrown. I can tell you that a legal observer sort of got in the middle and tried to calm everyone down and told them they should back off, talking to the protesters. And about 4 minutes later, I would say that officials kind of just they backed off, and they said that people can stay here as long as they are peaceful.
That's interesting. So that tactic directly resulted in a de-escalation there. And has it been largely peaceful throughout the day then?
Just to show you what's going on now. Absolutely. Earlier, you might have seen on social media, we had, I would say, tens of thousands of people, families and young people, all different age, race, background, all of those things. They walked a peaceful protest to our art museum, and it was a very peaceful day. But these are now sort of stragglers after that large group.
I see.
As I said, yes.
And I'm sure people from Philadelphia are sick of it, but the steps that made famous by the Rocky film, was that the centre of where large numbers of people were?
Yes, absolutely. That's the art museum. Yes.
And if it's just stragglers, as you say, there that are left now, is there any sense of whether people are going to stay on? What happens next? Will people be back tomorrow?
It seems like as time goes on, more people leave. And as I said before, this crowd is kind of different. It seems like they may be sort of trying to provoke something. But now there's only probably about 100 people here now. And earlier, I'd say about an hour ago, it was like 200, 250. So as the night goes on, it seems some people are going home.
It's really interesting to see. Sorry to interrupt. It's really interesting to hear you talk about how the protest is changing over time, and the atmosphere and the numbers are changing. What about the messages? You've been there. You've been speaking to people. What have you been hearing? What have people been saying?
So this is definitely the expletive group, I would say, more of a F the police. Earlier in the day, it was Black Lives Matter and justice, no peace. But this is definitely a more rowdy bunch, I would say.
And what is it? Talk us through. We're on day 12 or so of these demonstrations, extraordinary scenes right across the US. Have people been out making their voices heard in Philadelphia every day?
Yes, I would say this is probably around the 7th day. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say last Saturday is when things sort of started to take off, and it was definitely a day of unrest. And as time has gone on, it's gotten a lot more peaceful, I would say, a lot more peaceful protests. But today it's Saturday night. Things are still closed. COVID-19 is, we're still dealing with that. We're in the yellow phase, as our governor would like to call it, but nothing's open. So I guess, people are just here.
Okay, Antionette, we'll leave you get back to monitoring just how things are changing there, but we really appreciate your time and talking us through exactly what's happening there on the streets of Philadelphia. Antionette Lee, thank you.
You're welcome.